We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Prasno Upanishad Bashyam of Shankaracharya. We are in the fifth mantra. It's a very long explanation of Shankaracharya for this mantra. And this mantra is dealing with our dream state. The overall gist of this entire section of the fourth chapter is to analyze all the three states which we experience, like we do in Mandukya Upanishad. The waking state, the dream state, the sleep state. So the fourth chapter leads us to Turiya Atma or Brahman, which is the substratum, the adhishtanam for all the three states. That is the final goal. But how do we arrive at that goal? In Prasno Upanishad is slightly different. In Mandukya, it is slightly different. Here, Shankaracharya analyzes the three states, giving a lot of technical details as to what exactly happens in the body when we go to sleep. Where does the jiva rest in the three states? That is the primary focus for revealing Chaitanyam or consciousness, which is the ultimate revealing factor for the jiva. Let us go back to where we stopped last week, and that is the fifth mantra of the fourth chapter. Totally, there are 6 chapters, 4, 5, and 6. We are covering in detail. And Shankaracharya's Bhashyam is very, very much in detail. So the notes which I have for each verse runs into sometimes 100 pages for one verse. So here in this particular section of the analysis, what Shankaracharya is trying to say is that for the dreamer, the dream world is not a dream, but it is waking itself. In dream, for a dreamer. But then what happens? Because he doesn't know that he is ultimately the Chaitanya principle, he sees the external world of the dream world as an independent world. This point we must keep in mind all the time, because we say there is a Maya Shakti in the universe at the macro level. At the micro level, this Maya Shakti manifests as ignorance. Ignorance of the waker in the dream state, ignorance of the Turiyam in the waking state. So just as we look at the world in the waking state as independent, as external to us, similarly, the Atma, that is the consciousness, sees the dream world also, which is a projection of our Vasanas. It is an independent world, it is an external world, and it is a projected. Atma or consciousness is different from all the instruments which are there in the body. The sense organs are one instrument, the mind is another instrument. So, in the dream state, Atma has dropped the identification with the physical body, which we all experience. See, what we are experiencing only is explained in all these slides. Now, what is the main lesson we should learn from this analysis of dream state, waking state? The main thing we should understand is this consciousness in us has the felicity to drop the physical body every day in sleep. So when it can drop the physical body every day, we should not be surprised when the body is old or the vasanas have been exhausted in the body, then the jiva travels to another body. So that is one lesson we have to learn. And the second very important lesson is mind becomes an object which is different than the consciousness. See, consciousness is the experiencer. Mind is the experienced object with vasanas. So the vasanas are expressing in the mind in the dream state. Similarly, is the vasanas in the waking state also. But in the waking state, what happens is the vasanas have got one more instrument called as the indriyas. So the waking state is slightly different than the dream state. So mind is already activated by vasana, whether it is in the dream state or whether it is in the waking state. Why do we all wake up from sleep? Because of the karana shariram vasanas which are getting activated. See, these are all the ways in which Vedanta analyzes our experiences. Science does not analyze our experiences like this. Veda reveals consciousness which is not known by the sense organs or the mind. Therefore, it is called as pramanam. This consciousness is the lone illuminator of all the three states. That you should remember, it illumines all the three states. In different states, it illumines different objects. In the dream state, the vasanas. In the waking state, it illumines the bhautika prapancha. And in both the cases, the mind is used. Mind registers the world, mind registers the vasanas, and Atma illumines it. Mind by itself is SukshmaSharira, produced from the Panchabhutas. It does not have any sentiency. It doesn't have any activating principle or the illumining principle. Whereas Atma is Swayam Jyoti. It does not require any other light except itself. In the light of consciousness, which is my real Swarupam, which is the Swarupam of all the jivas. This is what is the ultimate teaching of Veda. I have to know that my Swarupam is not this body or mind. I must know that it is consciousness. In Brahman Upanishad, in the 4th chapter, 3rd section, this sleep is very much, very, very beautifully analyzed. And what happens and where does a jiva travel during, where is he positioned in the dream state, waking state is very beautifully explained in Chandogya as well as Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and the Prasno Upanishad. So in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, during the waking state, what is the light which illumines this world? If you ask this question, Yajnavalkya says it is the light of, it is the sunlight. In the waking state, we say the sun illumines the earth, the sun illumines everything. But what happens in the night? Who illumines the world during night time? It is the moonlight. Suppose you are in a beach and then you are in a full moon night, full moon night you are on the beach. So what illumines all the people in the beach? It is the moon. When it is dark, then what is the light which illumines? It is the words. Suppose it's dark and you can call a person. You come here and the person walk towards you. So you're using the words and the ears as a pramana. Now, a question is asked by Janaka to Yajnavalkya. Janaka is a king. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Janaka is asking a question. When there is no light at all, no sunlight, no moonlight, we have done this analysis before, but I'm just reminding you the background. Itra ayam purushaha swayam jyotir bhavati. This is a very important lesson for us to understand the nature of Atma. You see, when we go to sleep, I alone am. How do I know this? It is in the light of consciousness. I realize I am all alone. I don't know anything in the world. So who knows that? It is the consciousness which knows I alone am. And that is what Upanishads are trying to tell us. Try to understand that nature of yours as the ultimate Adhishtanam, where all of us we rest during sleep. Now, an example is generally given by the acharyas. See, suppose there is a miner who goes down to, say, dig the gold. On his head, he will carry a spotlight so that he can see what is happening inside the mine. So what happens? They themselves are illumining and they are seeing. Similarly, consciousness illumines itself and it knows that it alone is. In the waking state, what happens? This consciousness is also there. Because the nature of this consciousness is it is eternal. By knowing this eternal consciousness and owning it up, I can become immortal. That is the lesson of Veda. Veda wants us to know there is something which is eternal in this universe, and by knowing which, I can also become eternal. Normally, what do we think? I am this body, I was born, I'm not here after some time. But that is a wrong mistake. It is a mistake. It is a wrong notion in our mind. That is what Veda says, Upanishad says. It is a wrong notion. You correct your notion and be free. So, that is a part of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad where it is shown that Atma is self-effulgent by nature. In this Prasno Upanishad, where did we start this fifth mantra? The question raised by the Purvapakshi was, who is the Deva? Deva is mentioned in the Upanishad. But is it the mind or is it the Atma? That is what we have been analyzing so far. The analysis shifts to, uh, let's look at this slide where it says, waking state, the sense organs are active. Mind is active. Sleep state, what happens? Mind is passive. Sense organs are passive. See, we must do an analysis like this. Inquiry must be done like this so that we can reach consciousness. In the dream state, what happens? The mind is active, but the sense organs are sleeping. In the next section, uh, uh, the answer to the question who is experiencing, which is that deva, what we say is the mind is the deva and it is enjoying its greatness by dividing itself into subject object duality, and this mind by itself cannot know it. It is backed by, that is the correct answer. In the next section 153, the next Shankaracharya's commentary here, he refers to the Vardhanika Upanishad, the fourth chapter, the fifth verse. And we have done this before. Now, two stages of the dream are there. One is experience of vasanas, and vasanas are determined by prarabdha. So, how do I get different dreams every day? It all depends on your karana sharira, the third body which we all have. It is invisible. Nobody knows tomorrow what I will dream because it is unmanifest. I don't know. So it is a vasana which generates the dream. And why do we see this? Because I don't know I am a waker. I start looking at the mind. Even in the waking state, many a times you will realize that you are not even aware that you are sitting in office and so on, or at home, but you are totally involved with your mind, the thoughts in the mind. So you forget your presence, your locus, everything you forget, and you're totally absorbed in your thoughts. This happens to us. Dakshinamurti Stotram, Vishwam Drishyamana Nagari, Tulyam Nijantargata. It explains to us the Maya Shakti which is there in all of us. It is this Maya Shakti. Without Maya Shakti, we can never explain the division of subject, object, instrument. That division is brought about by a power. That power belongs to Ishvara. And it is shared by all the jivas in a reflected form. That is what we call it as reflected consciousness. So waking and dream as though the world is outside is experienced by all of us because of this Maya Shakti. In the dream that happens, it is only a replay of what we see in the waking state, either in this waking state or in the previous waking state with the previous body also. Because the SukshmaSharira and the Vasanas, they carry on birth after birth. They do not stop with this current body. That is the knowledge we get from the Veda. In Vichara Sagara, there is an analysis. Vichara Sagara is a text written, it's a very advanced text by Nishchala Dasa. the author. It's a contemporary text, about 700-800 years ago. This text was written. Now, in that, there is an analysis. Is dream a memory or is dream superimposition of vasanas? Purva Pakshi says it is memory, but Siddhantan says dream is not memory, but it is adhyasa of the vasanas of Karana Sharira. This is just a side point. In the 6th chapter of Vichara Sagara, this is analyzed. And in the dream, what happens? There is avidya of the waker. All of us, that is our experience, isn't it? See, we don't know we are waker, and we get attached to that dream world, dream universe. This is how the body works. What Shankaracharya says is, try to understand the waking exactly in the same way. I don't know I am Chaitanyam, pure consciousness. I have ignorance of Chaitanyam. Therefore, I take the waking state as real. Because I don't know the waker is my real entity, I take the dream as real. I go through the dream world as if it is real. This is beautifully explained in Mandukya Upanishad. So this is what is called as Drishti Srishti Vada. Drishti Srishti Vada means what? I am seeing it, therefore it is real. And that is what is very popular. Drishti Srishti means I am seeing the dream. For you, that your dream is real. For me, my dream is real. For me, my waking state is real. For you, your waking state is real. So waking is also a dream. Waking is real for a waker ahamkara. In all the 3 states, there is something which says in our body, I am experiencing this. That I is called as the ego I. Now, these are all different views of Shankaracharya. We are studying about the dream state. This next, after this, will be the sleep state. What happens in the sleep state? In the next paragraph, number 155, this is the Shankaracharya's commentary. And here he says, the dreamer, he experiences whatever he has seen in the waking state, also what is not seen in the waking state, the drishta and drishta. Exactly like we, this is quite easy to understand. What the analysis is that, like I explained before, mind continues in many janmas. Therefore, mind remembers whatever may have happened in previous janmas. Now, this is a revision portion. I won't spend too much on this time on this. This also we have seen this mantra, 4th section, 4th chapter of Brahmanic Upanishad, where it says that in the sleep state, everything becomes one. That is the undifferentiated condition of our own nature. In the sleep state, we don't have memory. In the dream state also, we don't have memory, but it is vasanas which are being seen in the dream state. People ask this question. Sometimes in the early morning, I get some thought of something happening in the future. Is it really going to happen? Which is called as premonition. The answer to this question is the yogi develops a capacity to project the future. For most of us, you should not take this as too seriously. Generally, try to drop it. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Because you should not become obsessed with that thought. There is a regressive therapy which is used in many cases where people are they bring back the old memories to analyze their current thought processes. The next section of Shankaracharya 156, he continues the dream experiences where he says there could be something real experiences also and something unreal experiences also are seen in dream. See, Shankaracharya, uh, he's very, very thorough in his analysis at any point of time. When you do the Shankara Bhashyam of different Upanishads, you will notice this. See, we are doing Mandukya Shankara Bhashyam. We are doing, right now, we are doing this Prasno Upanishad. Earlier, we did Taittiriya Upanishad Bhashyam. So you can understand what depth Shankaracharya dwells on. See the depth of the dream experiences he's getting into. But one thing very important in both Mandukya and in Prashna Upanishad is for a dreamer in dream, it is not a dream, but it is waking for him. Keep that knowledge all the time because then you can understand the light of consciousness is the common element in all the three states. In waking state, it is experience, it is illuminating the waking world. In the dream state, the same consciousness is illuminating the dream vasanas. In the sleep state, it is illuminating the ignorance of the world. Ignorance is a material object called Sharira. So this Mandukya Upanishad verse is quoted where it says that you can experience both real and unreal in the dream. Mind by itself is Jadam, mind backed by Atma experiences. The waker is mind plus Atma. Dreamer is mind plus Atma. Sleeper is Sharira plus Atma because mind has gone passive. So the mixture of mind plus Atma is the waker, dreamer, sleeper. Atma by itself is not a waker because it is Swayam Jyoti, it always is eternal. It is the Sakshi. Mind by itself is Jada. Unless there is an electricity, a current flowing through the bulb, then only the bulb glows. So I infer electricity whenever the bulb is glowing, I infer electricity. Whenever my mind, my body is involved in Vyavahara, it has got the sentiency, like that electricity, it has got the sentiency. That sentiency is independent of the body. Try to understand. This is going into the depth of the analysis of the waker, dreamer, and sleep. Sleep is a dormant mind. It is the consciousness which experiences the dormant. So, question number 1 was who sleeps in this fifth question, in the fifth section, in this 4th chapter. The question was who sleeps? The 5 jnana indriyas are sleeping, the 5 karma indriyas go to sleep. Who keeps awake? The pancha pranas are awake. Who is the dreamer? Who experiences the dream? It is the dreamer. With that, we close the analysis of the 5th verse of the 4th chapter. It has taken 2-3 sessions for us just to understand the dream state and to understand these three questions. Now let's go to the next. Totally, there are 11 mantras in this fourth chapter. Like I said, the ultimate conclusion of this chapter is consciousness is the ultimate adhishtanam, the substratum for the three states. That is what the Upanishad wants to teach us. But through these verses, it is slowly trying to make our mind more subtler and subtler. Next, sixth verse, I will first play Vijaya trying to chant this.
स यदा तेजसाभिभूतो भवति स यदा तेजसा अभिभूतो भवति अत्रैष देवः स्वप्नान्न पश्यति अत्रैष देवः स्वप्नान्न पश्यति अतः तद ऐतस्मिन् शरीर एतत् सुखं भवति एतस्मिन् शरीर एतत् सुखं भवति.
Again, a very detailed analysis running into 50 around 50 pages, slides on the sleep state. We have finished the waking, we have finished the dream. Now we are getting into the third stage, which is the sleep stage, which was described in Mandukya Upanishad, the fifth and the sixth verse of Mandukya Upanishad. That is what we are analyzing here in Prasno Upanishad. Some points which he brings about, Shankaracharya brings about, is not mentioned in Mandukya. You will see that when as we go through this, you will see that. Because the Upanishad describes a sleep state slightly differently here. How does the Upanishad describe the sleep state here? When the mind is overpowered by the light of consciousness, that mind cannot see a dream. At that time, bliss arises in the body. So this is how Prasno Upanishad describes the sleep state. During waking, what happens? The mind is located in the Golakas. See, now slowly we'll be seeing the structure of the body and the states. What happens in the body? What happens in the state? What happens in the body? What happens in the state? We're going to do that a very, very detailed analysis. Indriyams, they belong to the SukshmaSharira. They are available in the Golakams, which is belonging to the Sthula Sharira. Golakam means the aperture. The eyes have got the aperture, that is called as the Golakam. Now, the Jiva in the waking state, he is in the Golakams. He is in the ear, he is in the eyes, he is in the nose. That Jiva pervades the whole body. What is the Jiva actually? It is consciousness principle. But in the waking state, he is going to, that Jiva is using the Indriyams. In the dream state, he withdraws. So, mind has got two options. One is, it can go to the heart in the sleep state, or it can go to the Golakams in the waking state. In between that is the nadis, where the mind is in the nadis, in the nerves, in the nerves. So suppose the mind is withdrawn from waking and it has not gone to the heart. What happens to the mind? The mind moves through the nadis. 6 million nadis are there, and When the mind is moving in the nadi, that is the time when jiva experiences dream. Okay, so now that is the first information we get. What are the three locations of the jiva? Jiva is located in the golakam. Indriyas are there, waking state. Indriyas are in the heart. The mind is in the heart. It is sleep state. Indriyas are in the mind is in the, jiva is in the nadi. The mind is in the nadis. Jiva experiences the dream. So when the jiva cannot travel through the nadis and the nadis are blocked, then it goes to the heart. See, this type of explanation, this is the first level explanation. The second level of explanation is he is going to come and talk about Vatam, Pittam, and Kapha. So the first level of explanation is what is happening at the body level, where does the jiva travel. All these are known only through the Upanishads. We don't know any, there is no other scientific paper which talks about all these details. And, the Ayurveda people, generally people who have done Ayurveda, they talk about three types of juices: Vatam, Pittam, and Kapha. I'll explain to you this a little bit later. Now, when now all these three are substances and they go through the nadis. These three are substances which go through the nadis and they have different colors. The details are mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad. In the next section, the question is who experiences the ananda in the sleep state? That is what we are analyzing now. All of us, we experience what? We experience some happiness in sleep. What is the nature of that happiness? Who is experiencing that happiness? In what way that happiness manifests? All that are being analyzed by Shankaracharya. Vata means it is Vayu Tat. In Ayurveda, the Vayu Tattvam in the body is called as Vata. Agni Tattvam in the body is called as Pittam. And Jala Tattvam is called as Kapha. I'm just giving you minimum details so that you can understand this section slightly. Now, in these three are called as dhatus. And whenever the component of Vayu, Agni, or Jalam changes in the body, we get diseases. This is how the whole Ayurveda is based on. It is also said that the rays of the sun, they flow through the body, through the nadis, and they influence the three components of Vayu, Jalam, and Agni. So much detail is there in Ayurveda. The sun's rays is millions of miles away from us. That can influence Vayu, Agni, and Jal. Here, when we say Agni Tattvam, we are not talking of the earthly fire, the local fire. We are not talking of the Agni in the heaven, which is the Surya. We are talking about the Vishwanara, the digestive fire in the stomach. So, what they say is, in the sleep state, the reflected consciousness, which is the jiva, is overpowered by the original consciousness in the sleep state. And then what happens? Then the jiva experiences bliss. This is the way the Veda says all of us during the sleep state, we are overpowered. We means what? The jiva, who is a reflected consciousness in the waking state, in the dream state, in the sleep state, he is overpowered in the sleep state, and therefore he experiences bliss. Therefore, in that state, we are not aware of our surrounding. That means I'm sleeping in London, I'm sleeping in Singapore, I'm sleeping in India. We don't know. The sleeping person appears as good as the dead person. But what is the difference between a dead person and a sleeping person? The Chid Abhasa is totally absent. The reflected consciousness leaves the body. That is called as dead person. Reflected consciousness goes to unmanifest, or it goes into subdued condition. That is called the sleep state. Vibhutaha, that is the word Shankaracharya uses to describe the sleep state, where that jiva, the reflected consciousness in the mind, gets overpowered by the original consciousness. Therefore, we don't have any dream state. Because of this overpowering, it can happen any time. During the daytime also you go to sleep, you'll have some amount of joy. Or in the night you go to sleep, we get some amount of joy. What type of dream and what quality of sleep I get depends on the prarabdha karma. That is what the Veda says. Veda says your prarabdha karma is good, you will enjoy Tirupati darshana in the dream state, and you will have a good sleep. You may have a bad dream, that is also there possible, but this is the nature of the dream. With this, our focus should not be so much on the dream state experience, not so much on the waking state experience. Our focus, the Tatparyam of the Upanishad is to reveal the consciousness which is non-dual by nature. In all this analysis, you should remember what is the Tatparyam. Tatparyam means what is the main objective of the Upanishad. It is slowly leading us to that consciousness, which is the ultimate goal of all the seekers. Mind, when it is not in the specific golakam, and when it is not in the specific nadi, that mind becomes diffused and it pervades the entire body. That is what we call it as. Okay, so slowly we are going to see a slightly deeper analysis. Now, with this, you can see, first we talked about just the different nadis and so on. Then we talked about the vata, pitta, kapam, and then we are talking about the solar rays affecting the quality of our the juices which are generated in our digestive system. Mind, next section 159, mind gets withdrawn into heart and merges into karana sharira. See, the sleep state has got a big relevance in Vedanta, because consciousness you will reach only after you go through the waking dream and the sleep state. That is why in Mandukya Upanishad, the 5th and the 6th mantra talk about Prajna Ishvara. Very big significance. This has to be used in our inquiry, our own intellectual inquiry. If I want to ask the question, who am I? This type of analysis is what is required. This type of knowledge is required. Now, in this next portion, Shankaracharya says, mind gets withdrawn into the heart, and there it merges with the Karana Sharira. Normally, we don't know about this Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira also pervades the entire body. What happens to the reflected consciousness in the sleep state? It becomes diffused. It is not a bright Chidabhas. In the waking state, we can also realize this. Where is this brightness? See, ultimately, you must remember, Yoveda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Yoman. Taittiriya Upanishad Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma can be realized only in our mind. And knowing the mind's nature like this will help us to understand the nature of consciousness. In the deep sleep, it is not a bright Chidabhasa, it is like a 2-watt bulb in sleep. In the waking state, it is like a 1,000-watt bulb. The Chidabhasa. We are talking about the reflected consciousness. Another example Shankaracharya gives is, there is fire in the wood. Now that fire in the wood is not manifest. Only when you rub the wood, that churning of the wood makes the unmanifest fire into manifest fire in the form of flame. So similarly, like this fire which is there in the wood, consciousness is there in this body. We don't realize it. But how do we understand this consciousness? When the body is awake, it is called sentiency. That sentiency factor is that electricity factor in this body. That sentiency is called as consciousness. This Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness, Shankaracharya says that you can focus it and defocus it. Suppose you are listening to a sound, a music. What happens? From the eyes, you withdraw the consciousness and you can focus on the sound element. Suppose you want to see something more. At that time, what happens? You focus on your eyes. Suppose you want to think something. You lose the focus of the consciousness, the reflected consciousness. You withdraw the reflection of the consciousness from the indriyams, focus in your mind. In the Prasno Upanishad, in this section, in this mantra which I have quoted here, it is quoted by Shankaracharya in the first chapter, 4th section, 7th mantra. It describes what is the sleep state, and it says that it is an undifferentiated form of consciousness. In the waking state, it is a differentiated form because of the operation through the mind, through the sense organs, through the sense object. In the dream state, it is differentiated when it is operating only through the mind. In the sleep state, it is withdrawn from the sense organs, from the mind, resting in the heart. It is called as the sleep state. If you analyze our experiences like this, I am of the nature of consciousness is easily understood. It is this consciousness which you meditate If you can meditate, I am that Brahman, I am that Chaitanya, then that leads to moksha. Okay? So that is the significance of this mantra of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So in the sleep state, the Chidabhasa is diffused. Therefore, somebody touches you, somebody plays something, or your nose cannot hear, your ears cannot hear, your nose cannot smell, your ears cannot hear, your eyes cannot see, because the Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness, is in a diffused condition in the sleep state. That is another point brought out by Shankaracharya. Prajna knows nothing of the truth or untruth. The sleeper, he doesn't know Turiya. The sleeper also doesn't know the waking state and the dream state. That is what he means in this mantra of this first chapter of Mandukya Upanishad. So, Chidabhasa is not gone. Reflected consciousness is still there in the body, and it is this Chaitanyam which gets into three different forms. In Karanasharira, Chaitanyam gets reflected, but there is no raga and dvesha. I like something. You see, in the sleep state, you don't say, I like this, I don't like this, like you would say in the waking state. So there is no specific experiences in the sleep state. Vikshepa Shakti is also absent. The Rajoguna, which is there in the waking state, it is not there in the sleep state. The Ananda, the sleep, in the sleep state, we all experience some sort of happiness. That happiness is a reflected happiness. Along with this happiness, what is there? Ignorance is there. Ignorance allows the bliss of Atma to come into the mind and experience that happiness. But the jnani knows, I am not the sleeper, I am the original consciousness, which is beyond the sleeper. See, now we are always coming to a state where we say we are not the waker because the indriyams are been withdrawn. We are not the dreamer. The mind has been withdrawn. Now we are saying, I am not the sleeper because that ananda which belongs to the sleeper is also not my real nature. Slowly see how the development of Prasno Upanishad so beautifully it goes with such a deep analysis of the three states. So disturbances are caused by the Vikshepa Shakti of Maya. See, don't forget Maya in all this analysis. Maya means it is operating in my mind. I can't see that Maya Shakti. It is there. It is the reason because of which we become awake, dream, sleep. Awake, dream, sleep. What we do in the waking state is not being analyzed at all. That is left to individual vasanas. So in the sleep state, ignorance is there, bliss also is there. It is together, and that is what is called as tamoguna. Tamoguna means inertia, complete inertia. So the mind becomes abhyaktam. See the conditions of all the organs in our body which Shankaracharya analyzes. He discusses what happens to the indriyams. He is discussing what is happening to the mind. He is discussing what is happening in the Karanasharira, in the Ananda of Karanasharira. So the Unmanifest mind does not experience any swapna, any dream in the sleep state because of the nadis. The nadis are blocked. Therefore, see, Shankaracharya was an expert in all the fields. He was expert in Ayurveda, he was expert in Vedanta, he was expert. Because if your mind becomes more subtler, it can see things which you don't know otherwise. Next section, 161 of the Bhashyam. This is what the Sushupti Sukham. It does not, Sukha means what? Happiness in sleep does not belong to the Vishaya. It does not belong to the Bhautika Prapancha, but it is the Sukham of Atma. This normally we will never know. Everybody thinks that he just went to sleep and got up. But what is Shankaracharya saying? It is the Atma Sukham which is pervading the Karana Shariram, and that is what is called as Pratibimba Ananda. And that is what is common to all of us. See, this Chaitanyam is what we are actually. But what we think we are, the mind and all that, and the differentiation because of the body mind complex, that is what we need to drop and go to the pure consciousness level. Unobstructed Atma Ananda is the real Ananda of Atma. Obstructed Ananda means it is the Karana Shariram Ananda. Okay. This Ananda is also called as unmanifest Ananda. It is not manifest. In the waking state, it manifests. When we enjoy the waking state objects. But in the sleep state, it is called as unmanifest Ananda. Vivek Chodamani, verse number 107, also confirms that it is the Ananda of Atma which is reflected in the sleep state. It is not the Ananda born from the sense objects or the Ananda born in the dream state. It is different. That is why our experience of sleep state is very different than waking and dream. Consciousness identified with the physical body enjoys the waking, identified with the subtle body enjoys the dream, identified with the causal body is the Karana Sharira, enjoys the Ananda in sleep when there is no world. See, in sleep state, there is no world. This waking world is not there, dream world is not there. So with this, the fourth question is answered. Who is the sleeper? So the sixth mantra is over. Now we are going to go to the seventh mantra. Now Shankaracharya writes an introduction. We will see the seventh mantra, but what he says in the introduction is, now Sushupti means it is the Karana Shariram. Let's first talk about the subtle body. The subtle body is called as the Karana. What is the Karyam? Karyam is the physical body. Karyam means effect of the subtle body is this physical body. Now Jiva, he is influenced by avidya, kama, karma. This we have seen in Mandukya Upanishad also. This is the chain of our problem. I don't know, I am Turiya Atma, I am the ever existent, independently existing Atma. That is what is called as avidya. Because of that ignorance, desires are coming in the mind, kama. Because of desires, you get into action. We have seen this many times in our study of Upanishads. So we are all bound by this avidya, kama, karma. Question is, where does the jiva resolve? In sleep state. Jiva is resolved into prajna, means he is resolved into the karana sharira. From prajna, again he comes back to the waking state. So, in the sleep state, I don't feel I am existent also. The question in the seventh mantra, what we are going to discuss is, where is this jiva in the sleep state? Is he? And the answer is, jiva is in the karana shariram. That karana shariram also has got a reflection of consciousness. So this seventh mantra is an analysis of the locus of the jiva and from where he rises again into the waking state. This aspect, Shankaracharya is going to discuss a little bit more in detail also here. During Sushupti, Karana Shariram is there, but it is not manifest. It is unmanifest condition. Unmanifest means what? My sense organs cannot know that. My mind cannot know that. Sense organs cannot know that. That is what we call it as unmanifest condition. So prajna is not evident to us. So there is a debate whether the jiva merges in prajna, that is the karana sharira, or does he merge in the Atma? Sometimes the Upanishad says in Chandogya, Sata Soumya Tada Sampanno Bhavati. I will show you the mantra that says that the jiva merges into consciousness. This is the mantra. See, in Chandogya Upanishad, what Shankaracharya is trying to do is he is analyzing whether we should say the jiva merges in karana sharira or he merges in the atma, in the into the turiyam. Upanishad compromises because we don't experience prajna evidently during the sleep state. So Upanishad wants to reveal the consciousness. So the correct answer is jiva merges into karana shariram, which is what is said in Mandukya also, the fifth and the sixth mantra. And what is the seventh mantra? That jiva knows he is beyond karanam and karya. That is what we call it as ultimate moksha, which is the seventh mantra of Mandukya. So Atma, which appears as the jiva during waking state, Atma, which appears as the dreamer in the dream state, it is a misunderstood jiva. Why is it misunderstood? It is because of raga and dvesha. See, suppose I didn't have likes and dislikes in the waking state. That could be one of the reasons for me to mistake myself. That's what Shankaracharya is pointing out here. Raga dvesha are the points because of which is the cause because of which jiva misunderstands himself. For revealing this truth, Shankaracharya quotes an example which is given in Chandogya Upanishad. He says, birds, where do they rest? They all fly around the whole world during daytime. Daytime is duality. Nighttime, where do they rest? They go back to rest in a tree. What do they experience? Advaitam. There is only Advaita. There is no Dvaita. So all duality merges in Brahman. So seventh mantra talks about this example of the bird to explain to us what happens to us, where do we sleep in our sleep state. It is in Shankaracharya. The details of that is given in the next mantra, eighth mantra. What happens in the sleep state? Panchabhutas, they merge into, or our jnana indriyas, they merge, karma indriyas, they merge. So the whole sleep state is elaborated in the eighth mantra, where completely it is magnified. You see, this is the beauty of Vedanta. The sleep state is completely, it's not a simple state of just sleeping because the body is that wants to rest. When we come to Vedanta, Vedanta describes to us our nature in the sleep state, and that undifferentiated condition is called as prajna. Beyond that undifferentiated condition of the mind is the real state of that is my intrinsic state. Jiva travels between sleep and waking every time, like a fish. I gave that example of fish, I think, last time, where it goes from the left bank to right bank. In the middle, it is sleeping. So, world resolves into Ishvara is the right answer. Upanishad sometimes says that world resolves into Turiya. So don't get confused. It is only a compromise answer. The correct answer is world resolves into Prajna, which is what it says in Mandukya Upanishad. The first pada, second pada, they resolve it into the third pada. First pada means what? The waking state, the dream state. Both of them, they resolve into the sleep state. And beyond the sleep state is this Turiyam or consciousness, which is my real nature. Now, we will enter the seventh mantra.
Sayatha somya vayamsi Sayatha somya vayamsi Vaso vriksham sampratishtante Vaso vriksham sampratishtante Evam havaitat sarvam Evam havaitat sarvam Para atmani sampratisthate Para atmani sampratisthate.
So this is the verse where he gives the bird example, which I have just now described to you. And bird is taken forward for all the jivas. Bird go to the tree to rest. Jivas go to rest in the Karana Shariram, or they go to Atma, the Supreme Atma. Here, Prasno Upanishad says they rest in the Supreme Atma. Now, this is a compromised answer. The real answer is they go to the Karana Sharira, but Shankaracharya has already given us the hint in the introduction. Just to remind, who is the Guru in this Prasno Upanishad? What is the name of the Guru? Pitpalada. Who is the Sishya? Who is the student in the fourth chapter? Sauryayini Gargyayini. This is the just to remind you, we are in the 4th chapter. In this chapter, the student is asking this question, for which the teacher is giving this example of what happens in the sleep state. In the sleep state, the sense organs, the sense objects, the 5 gross elements, the 5 subtle elements, sarvam, all this go into unmanifest condition. See, this manifest and unmanifest condition, if you understand, consciousness becomes very easy to understand. Atma becomes very easy to understand. In sleep state, what the Upanishad says is the whole universe goes and resolves in the sleep state. From there only the world again comes back next day. This is what is called as Prakriti. And whose Purusha, the Atma? It is an independent entity which exists by itself, which is the illuminator of these 3 states. Okay. Now let us see the Shankaracharya's remarks on this example. See, he writes a fairly long commentary. I have explained to you the example. So what he's saying is, suppose you say Jiva merges into Atma, it is a compromised answer. The right answer is goes and merges into Karma, because the Upanishad will reveal in the next 3 mantras the ultimate Aksharam Brahma. See that this is the 7th mantra we are doing. And then 8th mantra will be the expansion of this. The 9, 10, and 11, it will tell us how to reach that consciousness. There is one more factor which the Upanishad will tell us. When we come to that, in the 9th mantra, it talks about the ego. How to drop that ego and then finally say that ultimate knower is consciousness. Now, Prasno Upanishad, just to remind you, is an elaboration of Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad is the base on which Prasno Upanishad is based. There in Mandukya Upanishad also we have seen this mantra, this bird mantra. Mandukya Upanishad, how does it reveal consciousness? Yatta dadreshyam, grahyam, gotram, avarnam, chakshusotram, tadapanipadam, nityam, vibhom, sarvagatam. This is the mantra. In Bhagavad Gita, consciousness is revealed as Aksharam. In the 8th chapter, Aksharam Brahma. So the same Aksharam Brahma is being quoted in the 8th mantra also, which we will see later on. But I just want to okay. In the 7th mantra, the commentary is quite brief. This 8th mantra we'll see now.
पृथिवी च पृथिवी मात्रा च पृथिवी च पृथिवी मात्रा च आपश्च आपो मात्रा च आपश्च आपो मात्रा च तेजश्च तेजो मात्रा च तेजश्च तेजो मात्रा च वायुश्च वायुमात्रा च वायुश्च वायुमात्रा च आकाशश्च आकाशमात्रा च आकाशश्च आकाशमात्रा च चक्षुश्च द्रष्टव्यं च चक्षुश्च द्रष्टव्यं च श्रोत्रं च श्रोतव्यं च श्रोत्रं च श्रोतव्यं च घ्राणं च घ्रातव्यं च घ्राणं च घ्रातव्यं च रसश्च रसयितव्यं च रसश्च रसयितव्यं च त्वक् च स्पर्शयितव्यं च त्वक् च स्पर्शयितव्यं च वाक् च वक्तव्यं च वाक् च वक्तव्यं च हस्तौ च आदातव्यं च हस्तौ च आदातव्यं च उपस्थश्चानन्दयितव्यं च उपस्थश्चानन्दयितव्यं च पायुश्च विसर्जयितव्यं च पायुश्च विसर्जयितव्यं च पादौ च गन्तव्यं च पादौ च गन्तव्यं च मनश्च मन्तव्यं च मनश्च मन्तव्यं च बुद्धिश्च बोद्धव्यं च बुद्धिश्च बोद्धव्यं च अहङ्कारश्च अहङ्कर्तव्यं च अहङ्कारश्च अहङ्कर्तव्यं च चित्तं च चेतयितव्यं च चित्तं च चेतयितव्यं च तेजश्च विद्योतयितव्यं च तेजश्च विद्योतयितव्यं च प्राणश्च विद्यारयितव्यं च प्राणश्च विद्यारयितव्यं च.
Very beautiful mantra. A long mantra, but once I explain to you, it will be very easy. The whole experience, how Upanishad explains the entire Tattvabodha is mentioned here. How do we experience the world? That is what is the details mentioned here. Entire creation is covered in the eighth mantra. The whole world resolves into Brahman. So when we make this sentence, what do we mean by that? What we mean is that the Panchabhutas, okay, let's go step by step. First, we have the Prithvi. We are perceiving the earth. That is the gross element. So the five gross elements, the earth, fire, all that, they all merge. Where then what happens? The Prithvi has got the Sukshma, the subtle element also, which we have seen in Tattvabodha. Because the Sukshma element constitutes our mind, it constitutes the Indriyas. So Sukshma Panchabhuta are also getting resolved in sleep. See, what happens in sleep is explained in a Vedantic way. Sense organs, chakshu, they are only a golaka, but then they are perceiving sense objects outside. So, Vacha, that means five jnana indriyas, five karma indriyas, the antakaranam, all these 14 organs in the body, they get resolved. In the third chapter of Prasno Upanishad, it was said that the prana supports the individual organs, which is called as the Vyashti prana. The same prana supports the entire creation. It is called as Samashti. Here, the 14 organs are being described. And this is the basis on which Tattva Bodha gets formulated. Prakarana Granthas, when they are enumerated, they talk about SukshmaSharira. SukshmaShariram consists of 5 Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Pranas, 4 Antakaranam, and the world of objects. Now, together, all this is called as creation. Okay, so this is just an introduction portion. There is a revision portion here. I'll just see. So the fifth question of Saurya is what the Pippalada is answering. What is the ultimate adhishthanam on which everything is resting? The whole creation is resting in Brahman, Sharam Brahman. Or you can say creation is born out of the Shakti called Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti in the 14th chapter of Gita, we know 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. That is what is we called as Prakriti, nature. So, nature of Prakriti, Maya Shakti is the cause. Creation is the effect, including my body. And this Maya does not exist separately. It exists with consciousness. Consciousness or Brahman, whatever you may call it. This entire creation rests on consciousness or Aksharam Brahman. That is what is the essence of this mantra which we are studying, the 8th mantra. The ultimate Adhishthanam is going to be revealed in all these mantras till the 11th mantra. 8, 9, 10, 11. All these are description of where is this creation resting. So, the universe is compared to our world here, and the nest is called as Maya. Maya means Maya Shakti. Universe rests in Maya Shakti. Sarvam means what? 5 Sthula Bhutas, 5 Sukshma Bhutas, the 14 organs, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 4 Antakaranam, and the Pancha Pranas. So all this together with the objects. See, for each of the sense organ, there is an object outside. And together with the objects outside, the whole creation. Now, Shankaracharya explains each of these areas slowly. He explains to us what is the Stula Shariram, what is the Stula Prapancha. He explains and he says that these 5 elements have got the gunas. What are the gunas? They have got the 3 Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And because of those gunas, they have different combinations and they become objects for the senses. See, the sense organs are also born out of the Panchabhutas. The sense objects are also born out of the Panchabhutas. One is a gross Panchabhuta, the sense object, and the Indriyam is a subtle Panchabhuta. So in Bhagavad Gita, it clearly says the sense organs and the sense objects, they are interacting. In the 3rd chapter, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, why are you bothered about it? It is the sense, that is the nature of Prakriti. And who are you? You are the Sakshi. You are the consciousness which is witnessing and which is always free. So take yourself as this Sakshi, this Adhishtanam Brahma, and then you that is what is called as moksha. Very beautiful. You see the concept how ultimately Vedanta reveals the nature of Atma. Very, very beautiful. You should be able to slowly grasp. Here we are talking about Sarvam in this mantra. What I have explained to you is that 19, 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus the objects which are outside. And see, here we are talking about the meaning of the tongue, the taste, the organ of speech, and the words. All this constitute the world. Organ of excretion, organ of procreation, all this is the world. And the four internal organs, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. What is ahankara? Abhimana lakshanam. What is buddhi? Buddhi is the ascertaining faculty which tells me, yes, I should do this. The decision faculty in us. Mind is only the emotions which keep on having sankalpa, vikalpa. So this is explained by Shankaracharya. I'm not going into the depth because these are all tattva bodha stuff. We already know this. The intellect is karta, bhokta. Chitta means it is a memory, it's a memory faculty in us. And here in the next paragraph, he talks about the Twangindriyam, the skin, how it can have a soft touch and so on. See, these are all basic explanation of the indriyams, which Shankaracharya goes into details. And this I've already explained to you, the prana at the samashti level, prana at the individual level. All this is called as sarvam. In short, you should remember 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5. Bunch of pranas, 4 together constitutes sarvam in the seventh mantra, and which is what gets resolved. The Chetana Prapancha is only for the benefit of Chetana Jiva. Why is the world created? Shankaracharya says it is for the Jiva to exhaust his punyam and papa. World is only a nama and rupa. All the objects in the world. It's only a nama and rupa, but what fills this nama and rupa is consciousness or Brahman. So all the nama rupas, they rest in Brahman. That is what is said in this 8th one. With this, I will close today's session. Next week, we will start the 9th verse. Introduction to the 9th verse, we will start. And from this topic 171 and 375. See, Prasno Upanishad discusses the same Atma, pure consciousness, like all other Upanishads. It takes into consideration waking, dream, and sleep states. It is good because we can do Prasno Upanishad on Saturday, and then we are also doing Mandukya Upanishad. The same analysis is being done in Mandukya. So both of them, they complement each other. Chare Purnasya Purnamahaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Yeah, I'll go through the chat box first. Manikandan is asking a very beautiful question. Okay. What he is asking is, why are we experiencing another waking state after I realize that I am the reality? I am the pure consciousness if I realize. How come and what is the reason I again experience the waking? And what is the logic we can use to accept that we will experience the same three states after waking up? Okay, the logic I'll explain to you first. Body, the physical body, is born because of avidya, is because born of ignorance of this. This body, as long as it exists, will definitely experience the three states. It will go through the prarabdha karma and it will exhaust the prarabdha karma. So, after knowing I am the pure reality, my attention is not so much on the bodies and its conditions and what it is experiencing. I have known that I am the consciousness in which this is the appearance disappearance. Like for example, what in waking state we come to know that there was a dream state and then it came and it went. So what Upanishad wants you to understand is take the waking state also exactly like the dream state. It came and went. And who am I? I am the Chaitanyam. I am the consciousness. The way the waker takes the dream world as mithya. Mithya means what? It appears and disappears. What is the Upanishad Mandukya teaching us? Take the waking also like that only. It came and it went. Yesterday it came, yesterday again tomorrow it will go, again another day will come. Years will come, years will go. Whole decade has come. 2024 came and it went. Now 2020 has come. It will go away. The experience of the world will not change after you come to know you are the. Make it extremely clear. Experience. Suppose you become a jnani, you understand the Upanishad completely and clearly. That takes a long, long time because when you study the Bhashyam, you study 4 5 Bhashyams, you will get the full gist. Especially the Upanishad Bhashyam, Shankaracharya is amazing. And same thing with Aitare. No, it's amazing. It's very, very beautiful. Keep on studying. What will happen is you will get to realize the reality as your nature. The waking up of the body, you are not affected. You take it as Prakriti, nature, Maya Shakti, thing is happening in the world. It will continue because it is endless and it is beginningless. Prakriti is beginningless. It will continue for jivas. The jiva is what Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira will keep on producing body of. But what happens to me when I get this knowledge? Huge difference happens. The difference is I don't identify the body as real nature, as my real nature. Before this knowledge, I used to think I am the body, I am suffering, I am born, I've got all these problems. That worrying mind will not be there. It will slowly, it will subside. And it will make your mind very, very strong to face whatever comes in the world. So, Manikandan, have I answered your question? Otherwise, you can ask me on you can just unmute yourself. Yeah, can you check whether you're able to answer, Manikandan?
Yes, yes, Sagarji. Now I can unmute. Thank you, Sagarji. It's a very beautiful
Yeah.
explanation. Also, I got another hint during the meditation. After waking up to the reality, that in the meditation, it is you mentioned that means the Atma is the subject. In this, there is no object. So
Yeah.
even after the three states are appearing to us to the body, but if I realize that I am that subject, so no need to hunt for any new state of experience, because
So
in
that is
subject there
correct.
is no.
That's correct. I don't have to look for another state of experience. Whatever an experience is, all I will experience. Only thing is, in your intellect, there will be a change. There is no experiential change after jnanam. The change happens at the intellectual level. Your understanding of your experiences will change.
Yes. So thank you, Siraj. It's really helpful.
It will take some time, but when it happens, you will know. Because you will be looking at the world in a different way. The world is appearing, disappearing, world is coming and going. It's like a dream, and I'm not so bothered about it. I am consciousness. I am pure consciousness. I am the ultimate substratum. I am the essence of this whole universe. If once that is understood, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. See, let the world come and go like your dream came and went because it is mithya. Mithya means what? Definition of mithya is it appears and it disappears. See, this uh, appearance and disappearance is what we treat as Maya Shakti. It is the Maya Shakti which gives me the experience of this world. The triputi which comes, subject, object, and and the entire experience, the triputi is what is the job of that Maya Shakti. Suppose that Maya Shakti did not bring this triputi, all of us will be realized. I am pure consciousness. That's all. But this Maya Shakti is what creates all the problems for the jiva. But it is not a problem for the jiva because it is the same Maya Shakti which a jiva uses to remove his projection, Vikshepa Shakti and Avarana Shakti. Once it goes away, he realizes it. A jiva has to realize that I am experiencing this, whatever I am experiencing is because of some Shakti in my body, in my mind. In the same mind, Atma is there. I have to know. The location of Atma is in the mind. In my mind, consciousness is getting reflected. I have to drop the mind and the three states and say, I am the conscious. There are different ways, different Upanishads will teach us how to reach this consciousness. Let's keep studying, and when it happens, each one of us will know. Because the mind will tell you, I am Atma. That is the ultimate realization. Mind telling me, don't, whatever the Upanishad has taught me is the ultimate truth. Okay, anybody else have a question? You can unmute and then you can ask. Yeah, Nandu, go ahead.
Hariom sir,
Yeah.
I think beautiful explanation today. Since we are learning like both together, like Prasno Bashyam and Mandukya Upanishad also. So like in Mandukya mantra 3 and 4, it is mentioned like 19 mouths. With that 19 mouths, Jiva is like taking like in third mantra, it is mentioned about like waking state, and fourth mantra about like a dream state. And here in like Prasno Bashyam 4.8, I believe that all 19 are mentioned except like prana. Except prana, everything is dissolved because prana is needed for the like maybe for the next waking state.
Sustenance of the body.
Yeah, that's the correct understanding, right?
It's the correct understanding, Nandu. You see, what Upanishad says is the 19 consists of the subtle body. All the subtle body, they merge into Karana Sharira. Whether it is Mandukya, whether it is Prasno Upanishad, the teaching is exactly the same. Ultimately, where does the world merge? World merges in the Karana Sharira is one answer. The world merges into Atma is the second answer. If you say the world merges in Karana Sharira, that is the right answer, because Upanishad is saying that the world merges in the fifth and the sixth mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. It clearly says that world merges in Prajna. And Prajna is nothing but it is the mirror image of Ishvara. Antaryami Ishvara. And then beyond this is this pure Atma. And that is the ultimate moksha. Moksha means I know I am free. I am free right now. I am free because I have studied the Upanishad and I have grasped the meaning of the Upanishad. I have internalized the meaning of the Upanishad, and therefore I can say that I am free. So slowly it will happen, but your question is correct. I mean, I've answered it. Do you have any other question?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay, no, thank you. Anybody else has a question?
No sound.
Yeah, go ahead.
Secondly,
Bolo.
there was a question in the beginning of the chapter that there was a question which says the difference between the instruments and the body. What is the difference between the instruments and the body?
Instruments. And me. The difference between instruments and me. You know, I am not the body or the instrument. Inside this body, the instrument means my eyes, my ears, my tongue, my nose. These are all the instrument for the knowledge of the world. When I see the world, it is through the eyes. When I hear a sound or a Ram Bhajan, I hear through the ears. So how do I experience the world? I experience the world through the instruments. Suppose one instrument is not there. Suppose the ears are not functioning. The whole world of music is not available for me. So basically, world is nothing but the instruments and their objects. Now, how does this eyes function? Is it that they have a power of their own, or is there some other power? For example, suppose a fan is rotating in your house. Does the fan has its own power to rotate, or it is rotating because of the electricity? The fan is rotating because of the electric current. Similarly, this body is like the bulb. It doesn't have any power of its own. The power which runs this body is Ishvara, is God. Maybe the nature of Ishvara. I'm able to see, I'm able to walk, I'm able to use all my organs for jnana as well as for karma. So your question is that you must know that the body and the instruments are not the same as I, the consciousness. I am different than the body. You should try to get this lesson from Bhagavad Gita as well as Upanishad. And what is that I? That I is that same like the electricity in the bulb, that I is that power of God in this body. The more I know about this power of the Lord in this body, the more I will stop identifying with the inner body. Because body is coming, body is going, body is waking up, body is sleeping. You should drop this body and instruments by which it experiences the world. There is a principle, there is some rule by which this body will experience. I am not bothered about that. I am only trying to understand the teaching of the Upanishad, which tells me I am different than the body. I try to understand that element. What?
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Anybody else has any other question?
Sir, I have a question I can read.
Yeah, Nagendra.
Sir, as for this sloka 5, right?
Yeah.
Chapter 4, sloka 5. Whenever we go to sleep state, right, it reviews whatever we done in the entire day, right? Maybe whatever we see in our ear,
Yeah.
right? So this is where our karmas, whatever we do, good karmas or bad karmas, right? Where it get reviewed and stored in the mind, right?
Yeah. So when the karmas are stored, we call it as vasana. And that vasana is the karana sharira.
So this is the where they process on daily basis. Maybe they review it. Maybe it is a subtle actually. So on daily basis when we sleep, right? This is where all the whatever the things we are doing, right? So that's why it processes and it stores as a vasana.
Yes. So what we see for most of us, the normal dream which we get is something which we have experienced. We re-experience that again in our dream. And then we go to sleep. Again, the next day we wake up. Again, we have wakeful experiences. The wakeful experiences are prarabdha karma phalam. It is a result of my previous actions. The experiences I'm experiencing now in my lifetime. It is an experience of the phalam of the previous karma. That is the fructification of the body. The body has been born to experience all that. I have some good children. I have a good parent. I have got good siblings. These are all given to me. I never had a choice in them. I have a good husband. I have good environment. I live in a good surrounding. This is all phalam. And the dream is the best example for us to understand the vasanas. See, vasana is an impression. And this impression, where does it lie? It lies in the karana sharira. It goes, vasanas are all in the karana sharira. That karana sharira is invisible. Nobody knows his karana sharira. And karana sharira has got sanchita, prarabdha, and agama. So our experiences are, that is why they say that the jiva is anadi. Anadi means it keeps on getting born. The born had the experience, again it goes away. Again it gets born. So we should never, if you know that this is the rebirth is surely there, we should, if somebody passes away, we should say, well, it was his karma phala. And then he will be born again, she will be born again. We miss that person. That is a different aspect. But the fact is that they will be reborn. Are you clear, Raghunathan?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah. So on continuation to this sloka, right? Sometime, right, when we don't sleep enough, right? Okay, whatever the works or some of the important things, right? We forgot in the next day, actually, right? We don't remember those things when we don't have enough sleep, right? So is it something happens here when they have a short sleep, actually? Yeah.
So you are asking why we get our sleep is short and why sometimes it is normal. Is that the question?
No. Sometime, right, if we have a short sleep, right? So if we wake up late night, okay, we don't sleep, right? So next day when we wake up, right? So whatever the few works, whatever we have done the previous day, right? We forgot actually. Right? We'll not remember so easily, right? So we forgot sometimes. So what is the reason actually? Is there
Oh,
anything with this sloka? Huh.
okay, good question. The Lord Krishna answers this in the 15th chapter. He says, I am the one who is responsible both for remembrance as well as that memory of the previous plus the forgetfulness. I am responsible. So there are so many things which have happened in our life. We don't remember all. The forgetfulness of the previous day is because of the karma phalam only. Our karma is over, finished. That's all. We forget about it, and that's it. So don't try to ask the question, why did I forget and what did I do? It is nature.
Hmm.
The nature of the body and our mind is determined by the prarabdha karma. And memory, some people have got photographic memory. They can remember what they have, what dialogue they have given in one movie 40 years ago, that fellow still remembers.
Right.
Now, that is an amazing thing. It's called photographic memory. There are so many actors in India who are like that, who can remember that what they did 40 years ago. If you ask them the same dialogue, they can repeat it verbatim, each and every word they can. So, forgetfulness and the memory are the functions of your mind. They have got nothing to do with me, the conscious. I am Atma. I am of the nature, eternal nature. I always am. Every day when I wake up, first thing I tell myself is I am. And that I am is my intrinsic nature. I am will never go away from me. In the sleep state, sorry. Yeah, Narendra, you want to say something?
No, not me, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So have you understood my answer?
Yeah, right, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else has a question?
Secretary, I have one question.
Yeah,
Taking this
Manikandan.
line, this question. You asked about the good sleep. It affects our physical body as well as our subtle mind also. So, is there any
Yes.
relation between this Karana Sharira, SukshmaSharira, and Sthula Sharira? Like, people are also advising that if you don't have a good sleep, it will affect your health and also create a lot of stress. So, it is related to the. You mean to say it's related to the what we understand is that this experience is mutually exclusive. It is not dependent. It is independently available for us. But in reality, when we don't have a good sleep, it is affecting our performance on the next day. Like we're not able to focus, we're not able to concentrate. So, is there any relation between these three shariras?
So the question is that physical body and sleep, they are related. The physical body, mind, and sleep, they are interconnected. So if you have 8 hours of sleep, you will be able to function properly. Now, some people, they don't get sleep. It could be some physical condition in the body, what you may have eaten. It could be some stress which you have mentally in some situations. In whatever way, in whatever conditions we are, as much as possible, we should try to get proper sleep. Adequate sleep is very, very important for all of us to function in life. And for some people, the adequate sleep can be 6 hours. Some people, it is 7 hours. Some people, 8 hours. So, sleep, you must take care that the body rests for some time. In case the sleeplessness continues as some problem, you must see a doctor and find out what will be the problem and so on. But generally speaking, don't try to answer for the sleep irregularity of the sleep. Don't try to answer it through any other Vedantic methods. You should drop Vedanta when you try to analyze your sleep condition. Follow the body, the rhythms, and take whatever steps are required.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question? We'll stop today, and then we'll continue next week this Prasno Upanishad. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Shikha.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you,
Namaste,
Shekhar
Shekhar
ji.
ji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you.